This is a story of our history, a story of how we came to be. It's a story of resilience, a story of asking questions and taking action, and it's a story we hope inspires you to listen to your own heart song and live your own heart song. This is Chris Lamb. Chris Lamb is one of the founders of Orange County Peace Camp, which has been around for over 25 years. She listens to everyone with her heart and is one of those unique people who transform others' lives. As a professor at Fullerton College and the founder of Fullerton College Lab School, she was a good friend of my mother's. As part of a peace group in 2013, she invited my mom and I to a retreat with people who devote their lives to children and to peace. At this retreat, we met for 3 days, talking about peace and children. We stayed in a beautiful cabin in nature and in another home walking distance from the beach. I met the most amazing people in this small group of activists. One of the individuals I met works with children whose parents are in jail and devotes her life's work to helping families in need. Another member volunteers to help when there are big disasters and travels wherever is needed in this country to set up a preschool for kids when catastrophes happen. I was so inspired by all that they did to make this world a better place. I shared my ideas of starting a summer camp one day, and I'll never forget how Chris Lamb looked at me and said, because Chris Lamb saw people as their heart song and as their dream. And so she said, "What are you waiting for? Start one now." And I laughed. There was no way that was going to happen. That seemed too far into the future. But Chris Lamb seemed to know something that I didn't. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Telling stories and talking about the history of peace Educators Allied for Children Everywhere, was important to Chris. She felt that you have to keep history alive and tell the stories of the people who made a big difference for the organization. We said our goodbyes, took this photo, and left. 2 days after this photo was taken, while Chris was visiting a friend in need, she had a heart attack, and she died that night. We were all very heartbroken and shocked. We celebrated her life and how she listened with her heart. We celebrated how she treated everyone with kindness and saw everyone as their heart song, and how she ended every email with, "in friendship and in peace." Sometimes things that are very sad or very hard or very shocking end up creating something new. Like a flower dies after spreading its seeds, and new flowers are grown. We would not even have considered planning for a peace camp. We might have put it off forever. But with Chris's death, we realized that we could not wait until tomorrow. We had to live our heart song. 2 months later, we went and volunteered at Orange County Peace Camp, the camp Chris had co-created and always supported every year. My mom and my 2 boys, Noah and Jack, went to the camp. Ella, who was in her 6th grade year at the time, drove with us the hour each day. We couldn't have leaders grow up in the camp like Orange County did. We had to figure out a way to train our leaders with no camp experience, and we needed to get her perspective. We observed, we asked questions, and we listened. We saw how they created newspaper villages in collaborative groups. We saw how they made origami paper cranes, and how they did collaborative art and skits. We learned about the cooperative games and saw the impact rituals like Maddie's poem and the Hope Stick had on the children. We asked if we could take what we learned to Altadena. Susan Hopkins, the co-founder of Peace Camp and a friend of ours and a lifetime peace activist who had attended the retreat with us, gave us permission to start a new peace camp using all that we had learned. She said we could do everything our way and use whatever we wanted. The only thing that she asked is that we cannot have tie-dye shirts as our regular camp shirt every year. We are only to have tie-dyed shirts every 10 years. So 2024. So we went back to Altadena and Avison School of Leaders, and we asked 5th graders if they were interested. 24 young leaders signed up, mostly in 5th grade. And we trained them and listened to them, and we created our own peace camp in the Secret Garden at Avison in Altadena. And that's the story of how Peace Camp Rocks came to be, and how a dream turned into a reality. And how when someone passes, they often leave some magic and some beauty behind, and they can live on in certain ways. Chris Lamb will always be a part of Peace Camp. See the snails on our shirts? Chris collected snails, and we have snails at camp and sometimes on our shirt to give attention to the smallest and most fragile of creatures, and to notice the beauty and uniqueness in every living thing. We use turtles, too, to remind us to take things slow and be a stand for all living things. Thank you, Chris.